Welcome back to the Market Wolf. I am the Market Wolf, where I give you the best bear case, the best bull case. In my opinion, we are currently looking at the DXY, the dollar. We are currently sitting at 102,121 with constant flux, obviously. It looks like we're trying to put in a large W reversal here, potentially on the dollar. We'll have to see if that's actually going to play out. Right now, the EMA lines are on a bearish divergence, although we do see a bit of an uptick trying to happen right now in momentum. It's a possibility we might get a bounce there. RSI definitely has room to run up on the 30-minute time frame, which we're on right now. So we will see if this actually becomes a W reversal, and that's important to look at because this means, if the dollar reverses course, this might give you an opportunity to buy in gold on the cheap as the dollar continues its descent down into the gutter. You can look and see how it's been drawn to the top part of this channel. Remember last night I told you that it was going to fall through the channel, which it did when you woke up in the morning. You saw my video, you opened up your chart, you saw that, hey, the Market Wolf was right about that. And it tried to get that little pedestrian bounce there and fell right back into the channel. Up again we go, and right towards the top of the channel we sit now. And do we get sucked back into that channel? Possibly. That's something I'm watching. But I do think we could be getting a potential W reversal here. And we'll have to see if that gets invalidated at the 102,301 tomorrow. So if this does actually work its way up into a W reversal, we get above the 102,301, you want to watch and make sure price does not break that 102,301, because if it does, then that W reversal is invalidated and we will be heading back down into that descending channel or wedge that we keep getting magnetically drawn to here. This may not even turn out to be a W reversal. This may end up being, if we just look at it from this point, a bit of an M and a kind of a bearish continuation pattern. But tough to tell on the dollar. We'll have to see. Let's take a look now at the S&P 500. And on the S&P 500, what you're going to notice here on the 30-minute chart is that we're sitting on a little bear flag, and we are below right now the 20-day, kind of sandwiched in between the 50-day and the 20-day. Now, we have to pay attention to these EMA lines on the 30 minutes. It looks like the volume is, really heavy exiting at the end of the day there. And so this kind of puts us in a bit of a bear case on the 30-minute. We'll have to check the other time frames to check it out. We're definitely below the average on the RSI. We'll have to see if we get rejected by that tomorrow. Although momentum does seem to be perhaps winding down to the downside, so perhaps we'll get some momentum back up tomorrow. We will have to see. You're going to notice more of a bull case in some of these other time frames. I'm going to take you up to the 2-hour, and you'll notice that we are still looking a little bit bullish on the 2-hour time frame on the S&P 500. We certainly, I guess the question is it going to load? Now, what we've got here while we're waiting is I'm going to stick a horizontal line. Okay. Are we going to load now, S&P 500? Just whenever you're ready. That's fine. No problem at all. Okay, so I'm going to stick a horizontal line right here at the right at the 409.77, because you can see here it looks like we are also putting in or trying to put in a W reversal on the S&P 500 to continue moving us up. And of course, price left off today at 409.86 after hours. I think what we're going to see here more than likely the move to the upside here is not very strong as far as the intensity, although we did get a bounce in the RSI on the 2 hour. What we're going to have to watch and see if this is a W reversal. If price breaks that 409.53 tomorrow, you know that this whole move that we've been making is going to be invalidated more than likely, and we're going to come on down probably and move our way down to some of those levels I spoke about in our last video. Let's take a look at the 4 hour time frame on the S&P 500. And I do believe we have a little bit more of a bull case here. Volume has been holding steady. I really see more of a lot of sideways chop playing out here. The one thing you will notice, though, is that it looks like momentum could be winding down to the downside, and we have gotten 3 bounces on the RSI, so it's possible we want to continue up here on the 4 hour. If we take a look at the daily on the S&P 500, and the reason I'm taking you through all these time frames is so you can put this together in your mind. Look at what's happening to the volume. Overall, it's decreasing. So the incoming volume is decreasing and the exiting volume is decreasing. Also, if you look at the momentum, it's been to the upside. It's been trying to wind down there a little bit, perhaps. Let's get a better look at that. You can see the RSI is, we're just all over the map here. Here we go. All right, so you can see that we're definitely beginning to wind down in the positive on the momentum. So, if we are back inside of this. Keep in mind, I don't think we've been able to break out of this descending. Is it a wedge? Yeah, we've been kind of in like this weird descending wedge for a long time, and we've essentially almost touched the top of that, and it almost looks like to me that the S&P 500 just does not want to get up there and touch that 412.93, which would put us at the top of that wedge. We really need to get top side of it, but it's just looking weaker and weaker. Now, the thing to keep an eye on is going to be the DXY. Does the dollar get to bounce in that W reversal and begin to trend up? Because if it does, then S&P 500 is going to begin to trend down. So right now, tomorrow, I'm feeling like sideways chop with a potential move to the downside. And then, you might see a bounce back up, not all in one day, but to try and retest this downward kind of channel that we've been in. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin and then Hbar, and then we'll wrap it up for today. So Bitcoin has been continuing to flag out the last time I looked at it. It's basically, oh, no. And we're off to the races again. So interesting here. No, that's just the daily. That's the daily. Yeah, so we're starting to flag on the daily. RSI does need to cool on the daily, so no big surprise there. The momentum to the upside on the daily, it's still trying to move, but we'll see. Let's go down to the 30-minute just to see what Bitcoin is thinking right now, because right now it still looks like a bull flag on the daily, despite some of the other issues we see there. We've gone below the 20 on the 30-minute time frame, and we've also gone below the 50-day moving average, and that's not a good sign. The 20-day is starting to curl over. We could end up having a bearish divergence here. Momentum is definitely ticking up. You can see the RSI was trying to come up there. We're going to get a rejection off of that average. I don't know. It sure looks like that's a possibility. Let's take a look at the 2 hour and see what's confirmed and what's not. Of course, we've crossed that Fibonacci line, and that's interesting because as we've crossed that Fibonacci circle, it looks like we're starting to roll over, although we might get a bounce on this. It looks like we might bounce on this orange Fibonacci circle right here. Perhaps that'll help us hold. We're still above the 20-day on the 2-hour, so that's a good sign. We haven't lost it on the 2-hour. If we lose that on the 2-hour, that's going to be very detrimental. You're going to see a rollover there more than likely at that point. And I think you come down and you have to retest either 29,194 or you retest 28,121 before you can get back up to that big move we're trying to make and get top side of the 35.47 on Bitcoin. And as you can see on the 2-hour here, the momentum to the downside is really increasing, though. RSI is cooling off. Do we have a major spill, or do we just cool off a bit by flagging more? Tough to say right now. Again, watch the DXY. It's very important with the way things will move tonight into tomorrow morning when you're waking up. So when you look at your charts tomorrow, you'll be able to tell me what happened. I want to check the DXY one more time. May as well. Just because I want to see if it looks like we're going to... Yeah, you can see the DXY is... it looks like it's going to possibly put in that W reversal I was talking about. We're on the inside. This blue line here connects this blue line up here. We're on the inside of a symmetrical triangle. That would make sense that perhaps what happens is we have a W reversal within, we get the bounce here inside this symmetrical triangle, and we try to make it up to the 102.667 and perhaps get rejected there and cool off again, and then fall back through. We'll have to see what happens on the dollar if it decides to get bullish again or not. I just don't see how it does with quantitative easing. I think we'll see plenty of sideways chop, but ultimately, if I was a betting man, I would say that we still have some more downside in the dollar to come. So I would assume that what will happen is that we'll probably bounce around inside this symmetrical triangle, eventually fall out of it, and perhaps back into this descending channel. And at that point, you'd be talking about perhaps going down to, somewhere around the 101.836. If you're going to get back inside of it, probably about the 101.726 on the dollar. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. We did cover Hbar, right? I bet we didn't. Let's go look at Hbar. Hbar was having a major move to the downside last time I checked. Yeah. Major move to the downside. Really falling apart here. And this, if you're interested in buying Hbar, we're basically falling back into this previous symmetrical triangle that we had been in, worked our way out of, exploded out of, huge explosive move. And now everybody seems to be selling, everybody seems to be getting out. We had a bounce at this 6 cent and 35 level there, so 0.0635. For all of you that are out there, that's just below 6 cents, 6.30 now. Look at that price. Incredible to see it dropping this way. The RSI on the 2-hour is just in the gutter, the absolute gutter. Some buyers are probably going to step in at the 0.0622 level, and then I would expect us to chop around between the 0.0622 and the 0.0646. That doesn't mean it couldn't get lower. It certainly could. You might want to wait and see if it gets support on the 0.0622. But if you're buying Hbar, that might be a decent place to buy in. Of course, it could move lower. Let's take a look at the. I want to look at the exiting volume on this 2-hour first. Okay, we've got increasing exiting volume. The momentum is just picking up. So yeah, definitely more downside to come. It really could potentially go all the way. Wow, it could work its way all the way back down and lose all of those gains. It could double tap the 5 cent 88 level. Definitely could do that. It's something to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, the RSI really on the daily has more room to go down. Momentum to the downside really is just getting started. Although the good thing about the daily candlestick here is that it really hasn't had a huge amount of exiting volume yet, although the day has just gotten started. So we'll have to see. But it would not surprise me to see us come all the way back down to 0.597. But, you might look and see if it gets support on the 0.0622. That might be a good place to buy in for another bounce up and perhaps working on completing a cup, going back up to the roughly, 7 cent and some change level there, 30. So something to keep an eye on with Hbar. Major move to the downside. I always look at it as a buying opportunity. I want to take you really quick though on Hbar to the let's see, 1 month. Was that what I wanted to look at with you? Probably. Or it may have been the year. Yeah. Let's just take a look at this. That is essentially Hbar following the big move with crypto. And its high, it was at about, 57 cents historically. So we will have to see. It's below the 20. It's below the 20 on the monthly. It's been below the 20 on the monthly for quite some time. And it would be nice to see it get on top of the monthly. Let's take a look here. Yeah, the good thing is the momentum is winding down. And so perhaps we'll see an uptick there eventually. We're looking on the RSI on the monthly. Hopefully price can get on top of that moving average. That would be great. Again, this all depends on the DXY. But overall, you look at where we're at right now, we're at buying levels, essentially, if you're a long holder for Hbar, especially if you believe in the program. So that's something I'll talk more about in the future. And we're going to wrap it up there for tonight. This has been The Market Wolf. We'll see you next time.